What it do, YouTube? It's your boy CJ coming back at y'all yet another video. Today we're gonna be talking about part 2 of the tattoo design I'm doing of these crosses. Part 1 was about me lining, but today's video we're gonna be talking about my methods and techniques on how I shade a tattoo. All right, I'm gonna hop straight into it. So, as y'all can see, I did do one cross already, but as I'm working on this second cross, the middle one, you can see like the motions I'm doing. It's kind of like a back and forth. I am pressing down just a little bit. I think I'm running my machine around like 6.8 volts or 6.9, kind of close to 7, but not too low. I do have my needle out a little bit, and I'm using a 17 mag to get this done. My method of packing in black is kind of like a rake motion, so I like to go like back and forth, but I kind of like to move forward while I do it. I used to use circles more often, but I just like this way because I feel like it's more consistent and it's easier to get one pass shading in without having to go over the skin multiple times. So a few problems you want to avoid while you're packing in colors is that you don't want to move too fast. You don't want to move faster than the machine is moving. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to move too fast because you can create these like little empty spots in a tattoo called holidays. When it comes to like the word holidays, what I mean by that is that, let's say you finish the tattoo, right? You'll see some spots that's not fully saturated, and by saturated I mean it's not as dark as it could be, and then when it heals you might have some like patchiness look to it. So you want to make sure that you're getting the needle in, and you want to make sure you're being very like, not really slow, but you want to make sure it's in there before you move on to the next section. But with that comes balance, because you don't want to stay in the skin too long or you're going to end up chewing up the skin, and it can heal pretty rough. It can heal with scabbing, and at the worst case scenario you could really mess up the skin to where it's scarring, or in the future it can keloid. So you want to make sure that you have a nice balance of not going too slow, not going too fast, you know, not damaging the skin, you know, more than it needs to be, but also making sure you get the black saturated as much as possible in a short amount of time. A lot of the techniques that I've mentioned in my previous video, it's kind of the same techniques you see here. I'm making sure I'm getting a good stretch in, and I'm making sure I'm putting ointment down so the needle slides into the skin easier. But as you can see, like, I'm still holding my machine at an angle. I am being very slow and methodical, make sure I'm filling in every space with the back and forth motion. Just making sure everything is nice and neat while I'm putting it in. And look at that. One pass, super saturated, no problem. I'm just going in just to make sure it's in there, and boom. That's all you need to do for it to be nice and solid. Another common problem I had when I was a beginner was running my machine too low. Running your machine too low while you're packing, especially when you have a fast hand, can be a bit of a detriment when it comes to tattooing. So you want to make sure that you tune your machine with your hand speed. So if you like to move fast, you may have to have your voltage just a bit higher so it can flow easier. Or if you have a slower hand, just make sure you slow down your machine just enough so it can match your hand speed so you can get the work done. And also, when it comes to color packing or blending color in general, what you want to do is, you don't want to not have enough ink in the needle. So what I recommend is, like, after every little part you fill in, just dip your needle in ink, because it's better to have more ink while you pack in than less, because if you have less ink on the needle, essentially you're just hitting their skin with nothing really going in, and then it's already like damaged to a certain point. And then once you dip again, you still have to cover that area. So I'd rather you dip more than usual into your ink cap than not to have, you know, a good amount of ink in your cartridge so you don't really run out. If you take a look at this part of the video, I'm doing a certain technique where I'm just pushing it. It's because I want a fade to be shown towards the bottom of the cross. It's not a packing technique, it's just more of a technique to have it fade out. So that's why I'm doing the push technique. when it comes to how many times you can go over the skin when it comes to packing, I personally wouldn't pack more than 2 to 3 times. Um, the first time being like, very light, and the second time being just, just kind of like a cleanup. But I feel like anytime you do more than 3 times going over the skin, you have a higher chance of causing more damage to the skin. So for the most part, try to get the ink where you need it to be the first time. The more closer you are to getting it in the first time, the more chances of you having the tattoo heal better in the future. Now that I have the camera a little bit more close up, just take a look after I do this top part of the cross. You see how I put it in and I'm just kind of like going back and forth. I'm not pressing hard. I'm just letting the tattoo do the work for me. And look how it looks after I'm done with this little area. I'm not rushing it, I'm just making sure every little part is in there, giving each little section about 1 second. And look at that. Look at this. Do you see how saturated that is? I only have to go through it 1 time. So keep in mind when you're shading, just make sure you're taking your time. You don't have to rush it. I never like the idea of rushing through a tattoo because the only thing that matters is the end result. And you want that end result to be nice and precise for your client, because if they love it, most times they're going to come back. They're going to keep supporting you. So if you do your best work, it will show in the end. Now, when you are packing in colors, you will have a little bit of weeping going on. What I mean by weeping, for the people that don't know, is that you will have little bits of plasma and blood kind of seeping out of the tattoo. But that's kind of how you know at the same time that the color that you put into it is in there and that is nice and saturated, because you'll have like the skin kind of crying a little bit. I don't know if you're able to see it in this video, but in some parts where you have super skinny areas that need to be filled, what I would do is kind of use the edge of the mag and then just kind of fill that in with just a tip, just the side of the tip of the needle, and just kind of fill that in using that technique. It works really well doing this. Another tip that I can give y'all is to make sure y'all using the right needle for the job. You wouldn't want to use like a liner to do all this packing, because one, it's going to take way too long for you to do it, and two, you have a better chance of chewing up the skin trying to pack in a tattoo like this with like a, let's say, a 7-round liner. It'll take literally forever for you to pack it. So make sure you're using the right needle for the job. I tell people all the time, tattooing is a lot like painting in the ways that the way the needles are set up almost represent the same way paintbrushes are set up. So if you ever painted before, you know there's certain tools that you need to use for certain effects. So keep that in mind when you're tattooing, that you need the right tools to get the job done. Alright, and these are the finishing touches of this tattoo. I hope y'all got some value watching this video. Let me know if you need anything else, or if y'all have any more questions, leave that in the comments below. But if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button so I can bring up more tattoo content. I will be going over more beginner stuff for y'all. But in the meantime, keep practicing, keep learning, keep drawing, and I will see y'all soon, alright? Peace.